Hello and welcome back. So it's now time to actually save the content of our post. Okay, so the first thing we need is the model that deals with posts, right? So we do have a posts model. So let's go to models and up models, and that's the post model. Okay, so since the post is named after posts, the model already knows what table to read from. So we don't need to give it any extra parameters here. We are good to go. And let's just make sure that we do indeed have that table. So posts table and everything looks good. We have our timestamps. Everything is awesome. So all we need is a title, we need a category ID, we need an image, and we need a content. So very good. Let's give it those parameters, shall we? So now that we have this, let's just get the namespace, copy that, close it. We don't need it no more. And let's just add the namespace here. So namespace, models, and then it's called post, like that. Okay, so now since we have it here, we can use it. So at this point, if something was posted, I just want to say post is equal to new post, like that. Okay, so now that we have that, all we need to do to save data is to just say post insert, like so, and then we add our data there, like that. And then we are done. That's about it. And so once we are done with this, then it's going to return our view as promised. But we will need to validate the information before we can store it, don't we? So let me mute this for a second and let's try some validation. So I'm going to say validated information is equal to request validate. So let's do some validation. Let's give it an array to deal with when validating. So this array is going to contain the title, and the title will be required, of course. So required, like that. And then what else do we need it to be? We just need it to be a string. So just a string should be enough. Now, as I mentioned earlier in earlier videos, when you need that, you can go to the validation when you need to see what is what here. So for example, we do have string here. If I click on string, it will tell me exactly the field under validation must be a string. If you'd like to allow the field to be null, you should assign nullable row to the field. Okay, so if we go scroll back up, we will go back to that list again. Or I can just refresh the page, but my internet sucks really bad, so I don't want to refresh the page just in case. Oh, I went quite far there. Okay, there we go. So string seems to be okay. And then there's also what am I looking for here? Max. Where is max? Okay, alpha, integer. Okay, min, and there should be max just here. So max there. So the field under validation must be less than or equal to the maximum value. So you can add this max or you can leave it out, because by itself the database is going to truncate any data that doesn't fit the structure here. So if we go to the structure and look at title, it only allows 100 characters. So if you add more, it's just going to cut the rest out. So if you want, you may leave that, or you may add max as part of the validation. But let's leave it at that and move to the next one. So the next one is going to be image. Let's see, image. Now image is required because that's the featured image. wait a minute. Yes, it's image, and then content is also required, just like category ID. But we won't validate category ID because we don't want to add anything there. So image, and then we will have content. So content is required as well. So let's just put required for now. And then image is required, and then it should be at least an image of some kind. Okay, so those are the validation rules. Once that is validated, then we can insert the data. Now, instead of data, I've put validated here, but we can add more data, but I may not want to add this directly. So what I will do is create a variable called data and then add some items to it. So the first one I want to add is the title. Okay. Now you don't need to do this. I could have grabbed this validated and added it here and it would have worked. But the problem is a few of these are missing. For example, the category ID is missing and I may want to add a few more things. So I'll go here and say title instead, and then add the title from the request and put input like so, and then add title like that. Okay, so one down, a few more to go. So title, and then let's add category underscore ID, and then let's just add a number 1 here because we are adding a fake category. And then let's put image here, and we're going to put image inside. So the image requires a path. That's what we want to save. So this is where this guy comes in. Let me grab that and put it here. So after we save, this returns a path. So path be equal to request file store, and then we're going to store it there. So that path right there is what we need here. So I'll put path there, and then the content, obviously. So I'll put content. Wait, is that? Yeah, that's content. Good. Okay, seems that we have everything in the bag. Title, category, image. Okay, so if we have any errors, it's going to tell us that we do have some errors, which will be great. So validate. Okay, so everything so far looks good. So let's give it a shot and see what happens. Now, of course, we're going to get errors if things don't go well. So let's go back to our blade thingy here, and inside the form, I'm just going to put at I wanted to put an if statement here, but let me do a for each. So I will do at for each, and I will put errors here. Errors or as error, like that, and then end for each, like so. And then now in here I can echo out error. Let's add a break tag so that each error is on its separate limb. Okay, that is awesome. For now, that's all good. So let's go back and try something. So let's just post without doing anything here. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we get our errors here. Title field is required. We're going to style them better, but for now this is okay. So let's add a title. So let's say a long post title. And by the way, it's a good idea to put the old content here. So let's do that now while we still remember. So inside the input for title, I'm just going to put value and say like this. I'm going to say old and then put title there like so. Okay, so that is the template which I will use for these others as well. Not for file, obviously, but let's try for, we're not doing anything for this, so let's just do for this. So here we don't need to name it value, we can just do that and then put content like so. Okay, so that in case we have some errors, we don't have to start from scratch. So there's a title and there's an image, and let's this is some content, and then let's do a post. The image field is required. Wait a minute, I may have made a mistake here. So it's not image. Oh, wait a minute. Validate. It's file. Sorry about that. Let me make sure here I get file. Okay. So we named it file. For some reason I'm used to the other one that's on the in the database. So back here, at least we have that returned to us. So I can clearly see that was the wrong spelling. Let's browse again and open that. And then some content also came back, and let's post. Okay, so since nothing came back, I'm assuming everything went well. And let's go to our table and try to see what's happening. So we finally have something here uploaded, some content, but we don't have any created ad, updated ad. I have no idea why these guys are not doing their job. But here, if we go to the uploads, we'll see that there's content here, which is good, some images, and that is awesome. Okay, so that was a test subject. Now the file name, as you can see, is but that's okay, we don't really care about that. It's okay to have it change the file names, that's all right. But timestamps are supposed to be activated. So let me go to my stabs here and look at models tab. Oh, okay, it doesn't have the stuff I'm looking for. So let's give it a shot again by editing the model itself. Timestamps should be true. So let's see here. If I say protected timestamps is equal to true. Let me see here. I think let's refer to the documentation for a second here. So there's modeling here, data modeling, which is in database, getting started, and then no, actually it's in Eloquent. Click here. Okay, so primary keys and timestamps. So let's go to timestamps right here. So it says timestamps is equal to false. Will indicate that model should be, indicates if the model should be timestamped. So I'm guessing this one is false, is set to false. So let's try and set it to true. Looks like we're supposed to have it as a public property. So let's add true. Yes, yes. Let's go back and give it another shot just to see if it will work. Final title. Let's browse for random image. That one there, not so random anymore. Let's just say another post. Let's hit post there. Okay, so let's confirm if it has worked, and apparently it hasn't. So created ad, no problem. whether it doesn't want to timestamp, that's its own problem. Let's create our own timestamps, shall we? Because it's just so easy to do. So let's do that. So I'm going to say created at underscore at, oops, underscore, and then updated at, I'm fighting with my mouse here, updated at, and then let's add a date. So date, let's create our date. This gives us an opportunity to create our own date format. You can read all about date formats in the php.net date time section. Okay, so there we go. That's our date right there. So let's do one last round of saving just to confirm. Okay, so a post, browse, let's add another of these arrows. Where is that? There we go. And another timestamp. Yes. So let's post and back here. Right, now we have 3 posts, and this one has indeed some timestamps. Okay, so this is good. At least we have some posts to work with, but we will have to delete these and create some actual ones once we add categories here. But for now, this will do. Okay, so I hope you've learned something, and I will see you in the next video.